the Workforce Connections podcast, where we discuss workforce development in Southern Nevada. Here's your host.
Hi, and welcome to the WC podcast, where we explore workforce development issues in Southern Nevada. Today, we have a great special guest, member of the Workforce Connections Local Elected Officials Consortium and Commissioner for the County of Nye, my friend and boss, Leo Blundo. Welcome, Leo.
Well, hi, mate. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, we were talking before this podcast about the impact that you've made on our local elected officials body. As a local elected official, you have advocated strongly for some issues. And the first question I have for you, actually, before we go to the first question, I wanted to get your input on this brand new studio we have here at Workforce Connections. What are your thoughts?
I like it. You guys put it up. It's solid. It gets the message across. It's clean, crisp. I think big picture, it'll be something that we can use over time to continue to get a good positive message out there.
Yeah, I think we're trying to keep up with the times, with the age of digital marketing and social media platforms. Yes. It's just another way to communicate our message and our impact. So, but to the business at hand, again, I know you personally. I've had the fortune to travel to Nye and have a dinner with you in your restaurant. I know you're a business owner. You've told me the stories over the pandemic and the impact that had, but I would like for our listeners to hear it directly from you. Many people lost their jobs and many people lost their businesses, and you were right in the middle of all those experiences as a small business owner yourself. So please, again, take off, if you will, your local elected official hat and talk to us as a business owner. What was that year like as a small business owner?
A lot of uncertainty, if I had to sum it up. When you put the blood, sweat, and the tears into your own business, and for us, we've been there about 15 years now, it's definitely a struggle. I mean, everything you've worked for, all those sacrifices to just kind of, you can lose it all because of a few government decisions. It definitely, uncertainty puts a strain on you. We did everything we could. I'm fortunate I had savings, and we used savings to keep our people employed. At the onset of the pandemic, there were more questions than answers, a lot more fear of what this virus is, fear of what, our loved ones, their health. I have my father, he's got emphysema. That's no secret. So, I mean, just so many things. And I know my staff have those same concerns and fears for their families. We did everything we could to keep everyone employed, going, and it was just a real challenge. You got to figure out, you're either going to adapt, and they say that in business, you either have to adapt and come current with the times. And unfortunately, the model was you need to adapt and come current with these pandemic times. And the curbside was an interesting model for that temporary period. I know a lot of people in the public were trying to support. We're fortunate with the demographics in our community. It's a little bit different where you have a very substantial retired segment, and they were trying to support the small businesses. Again, you have to think, when times are good, you want a soccer or a football, Little League sponsorship, right? You're going to a business. You don't go to Walmart and say, hey, I need you to sponsor this team. Where do you go? You go to the small businesses. So the community definitely, and we saw that even in the Las Vegas market. It wasn't just in the local, the rural markets. I saw that in Las Vegas market, but we definitely had a lot of support from the people. They supported the small businesses. And again, we have always supported the community and those community type events. And I think that's one of the strongest points that helped us get through those first early months, because you just didn't know what was going to happen. And I know the governor had a lot of tough choices. We agree with some, we disagree. We disagree because it's personally affecting you. Be as it may, at the end of the day, choices get made, and you either have to adapt and survive, or you're going to have to fold. So I feel for those businesses that folded up. I know there was a gym out there that closed. It didn't take much, and that was just really unfortunate. So hopefully through all the different programs, resources, and I know we've all done our fair share of trying to bring resources to our communities. Hopefully they can reopen or look at those options. But where one door shuts, another door opens is a new opportunity for someone to come into the entrepreneurial market. So
that's true. And let's talk about that now with a new door, because last time I went to your restaurant, it was pre-pandemic. And again, I loved it because as soon as you open the doors, people start to come in. You fill up quickly. And so you told me make sure you're early. And there's a great vibe there in that community. And I know they kind of retire early as well. The restaurant, if you will, you have a really couple of busy hours and then it slows down a bit. But that's the model there. And I'm hoping that that's what you're seeing again. But now that people are calling it post-pandemic, I know it's not as clean as that because there's still lingering effects. But tell our listeners about post-pandemic in Pahrump. What is that like? What permanent effects are you seeing? What changes are you seeing in the way business is done in Pahrump?
Pahrump's a little bit of a different animal. Our board we took a vote, and the numbers were not justifying the closures and the restrictions. So we had taken a vote to reopen and to move forward and to start recognizing some of the differences. I know our governor wasn't too happy about that, but we're at a stage now where even through those directives, what's most important is honoring the exemptions within the directives. Okay. And I know businesses, we've kind of fallen into this. Okay. Everybody has a mutual understanding where we're at. I think the shame campaigns where people are looking at you, I think that's really subsided. We're getting to the point where there's respect and the businesses understand a little bit more. There's more certainty in the industries across the board of what's expected of them, and for us too, just as, hey, I'm a average Joe, American citizen. What's expected to help curb this pandemic? Because we all want to be out of it, right? We want it to be a permanent post-pandemic, not we're coming out of it post-pandemic. But we see the businesses doing, I'd say, relatively okay. We had our COVID programs, one of them, and I was a huge advocate for this. I definitely wanted to push towards geared assistance towards small business. So we had some programs, $15,000, $30,000, and $50,000 programs, grant programs, not just with the CARES, but what was left over. And we turned that into another small business grant program. So we were very fortunate to be able to help the businesses. And in my opinion, I know we saw a lot of government entities take the federal dollars. They're all taxpayer dollars. So that's money from the people to the people, right? I wanted to make sure that's what happened. From taxpayers to taxpayers. We do well when we have a good economic moat. You need the transactions happening. You need people buying vehicles, going out to eat, buying clothing, retail. You need all those gears moving. If government just takes it and eats it for themselves, it's kind of like a one-time payment and then that's it. So we had the wisdom to create these programs to continue having a strong economic moat. And I think that's what you're seeing out in Pahrump, Nye County. Again, that's the difference in the mentality. We looked at what can we do to sustain and keep things on a positive note, strong economy. And we took the taxpayer dollars and we invested in our economic backbone, the small businesses. You know what I'll say? I'm actually very proud that this country, for once, we invested in small business. That is the backbone, not just of Nye County, of Nevada, of this country. That's a strong thing to invest in. Just like in our infrastructure, you need the roads, you need bridges, you need things to drive, to transport. Economic, it just says that. So I'm very proud that we were able to have that financial investment in our people. I think that's important. So.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear that that's happening in Pahrump and in the county of Nye. You've been now, I remember you joining the local elected officials consortium for workforce connections shortly after my appointment. So it's going to be, I know it's coming close to 4 years for you. And in those 4 years, a lot has happened at Workforce Connections, and a lot of it, of course, led to, as you know, last year we won our national championship of all the 550 boards. We were recognized as the board best aligning workforce and economic development in our region. That was in partnership with the Vegas Chamber. But that road has not been an easy one, as you know, and I'm grateful to the leadership of the Local Elected Officials Consortium and the board that you appoint, because we've made some difficult decisions to be better. And that means establishing some accountability on this taxpayer money and demanding the best outcomes possible. And as you know, sometimes hard decisions may have consequences. We saw ourselves spending more legal fees than we had ever. but at the end of the day, clearing our name. Again, I think lots of things have happened. The data speaks for itself that we all made the best decisions to better serve our job seekers and our businesses. But I would like to ask you, in these 4 years, what have you enjoyed the most? You've traveled with us to DC. You've been always there when we've asked you to support us. And so what have been your favorite things over the last 4 years?
I'll start with this. It is a very humbly rewarding experience to be able to serve on the Workforce Connections Board, because it's too easy to get caught up between the partisan, and it just becomes a partisan war. On this board, it's red, white, and blue, and we get the unique opportunity to be able to have respect, decorum, and incorporate all sides, all angles, because on this board, it's a very simple objective. We're here to help and serve the public and do the best we can through Workforce Connections. So with that in mind, it's one of the most rewarding experiences is, we've been able to help the people out in Nye County. We've been able to create those job opportunities for small businesses, for large businesses across the spectrum. So we give those opportunities to be able to get people trained, the skill sets, the opportunities to get in where they may have been passed over. And we all have that experience growing up. Maybe you were 16, 18, and you were trying to get a job somewhere and you just got passed up. Well, now we have those programs and incentives to be able to say, hey, look, let's give the opportunity to this one, because you qualify for these incentives through the program. So it's a very unique experience, and I'm very grateful to be able to share that with my colleagues, my fellow Leos, right?
Yes.
Leo is my nickname.
Yes.
And I hope they share the same sentiment. Again, it's not just about red and blue. We are red, white, and blue. We're all Americans, and we're doing the best we can to serve our communities.
And I'm so grateful that you say that, because there's many, I think, reasons I'm grateful that for the 8 members that I have the pleasure to working for. Again, I work for all of you, and as the chief staff member of our organization, I'm telling you what a blessing it is to have a group of local elected officials that are able to put aside the politics. And I never hear the word Democrat, Republican in your meetings. I hear what's right. What are we doing to help the people? Like you said, the American people that live in this city, that county. And I'm telling you, as staff, we could not appreciate that. So thank you for your piece in that. And again, I can tell you that your colleagues feel the same way. And again, I think that's what helps me always look forward to my days here at work, because I have a consortium that does exactly that. Let me
Jaime,
yes.
I'm just going to say this. I think part of the success and magic is because you're here. You bring so many valuable aspects. You're smart, you're humble, and you not only have a work ethic, but you lead. You're not bossing anyone here. You definitely lead the staff here. And I whenever I come to the facility, everyone's always had a smile, very willing to help or get involved. And I think that's a testament to your leadership and the qualities you bring here. I don't think Workforce Connections would have won the awards, the accolades, and I don't think it would have happened without you here. So, I mean, really, we're fortunate to have you here. You make the magic happen.
Well, that's a great compliment. I sincerely thank you for that. I know you and I know that it takes all of us to do it. But thank you so much for that. It means a lot. What moving forward, what would you like to see accomplished now as as the representative for the county of Nye and a member of this group that actually represents all of Southern Nevada? I know that you already told us, yes, we won the national award. We don't want to go down. We want to stay up there high. But what kind of things would you like to see us accomplish in the next few years?
I think, not just maintaining. Obviously, you want to maintain. You have to give opportunity, because other localities are going to, obviously they have a benchmark they want to strive for. I think at this juncture, we look for ways to innovate and be the leader. Let's bring something new, a new dynamic, a new perspective, something to aspire to and inspire. I think that might be a new direction we take this year. without risk, there is no reward. So smart, calculated risk, and we always have new pilot programs that are coming out. That's where a lot of our things have started. It was a pilot, and now it turned into a success. So I think this coming year, I think we can look forward to some things like that. At the very bare minimum, we need to continue to engage and do what's working for us. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But I also see the other aspect of that. I think we can aspire and inspire to do a few new things this year, and it'll have a real positive impact.
Great. Well, you have our commitment to continue to go in that direction. Last question, as we bring our podcast episode to a closure. As I said earlier, you have been kind enough to set aside time from your busy schedule to travel with us to DC for the National Association of Workforce Board annual national forum, where all 550 boards come to share best practices, hear the common challenges and how we solve them. Because after all, as you said, this federal legislation, it applies to everybody, no matter who you are. And there are rules in there that sometimes can be challenging. And so it's a great place for to network among your peers, for us as staff with our peers, for you as local elected officials with your peers. I would like to hear how you've enjoyed that, but more importantly even, why should other WC board members that you appoint from the business community and peers of yours, perhaps new members that are joining the Leo Consortium, why should they go to the NOB Forum every year?
It's a lot like strength bodybuilding training. Everybody watches the TV and they see Mr. Olympia. Oh, I could do that. Well, the path from where you're at to Olympia is through the stresses and the breaking down and being able to experience those new experiences. So I see it very much akin to that. Attend the workforce meeting in DC, because you're going to be exposed to these new experiences, which forces the growth. The growth is the process. The growth is the end result of what you see at Olympia. So when you see Mr. Bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia on the stage, that is all the experiences, all the stresses, all the growth, the clay being built on. That's the growth now you see here at the end. You see the end result. We all want to be a part of the end result, but there's a process to it, and that's what I think one of the most valuable things. You're going to go there, shock your system, get new experiences, and get new ideas, and it's just going to spurn all the positive things that we always see here at Workforce Connections, all that positivity. So I just akin it to that. If I could share one thing, go for the experience. You never know what you can learn, who you may run into, and what you can bring home, because you'll have ideas and you'll be talking about it, and then the wheels start turning, and there we are. So then, hey, you never know, it's a new pilot.
Well, thank you again, Leo, for your time today and for joining us in the podcast.
It's my pleasure.
So with that, we come to an end to another episode. Until next time, stay safe. Okay, well, thank you, Leo, for staying for our bonus segment that we call Against the Wall. We have 3 sections. The first one is called Your Favorites. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, tell us your favorite spicy food.
Shrimp fra diavolo.
Your favorite family recipe.
Chicken parmesan.
You're making me hungry now. Your favorite city to visit.
Favorite city to visit.
You can give us a couple if you like to. I'll have to choose one.
Well, I visit Las Vegas quite frequently. I always enjoy coming in. I need to go visit Minas Gerais, Belo Horizonte in Brazil. I need to go revisit there. So
that's very nice.
Hawaii is always nice. I hear that from many of my friends and colleagues.
We got to make a trip.
Maui.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Marketing.
Your favorite musical artist or group?
I'm eclectic. There's way too many.
Give us 2.
I enjoy listening to Phantom of the Opera. I have the whole series on there. Journey.
Oh, yeah.
Start going down the list.
No, those are
even
good.
Though I was born in the 80s, I listened from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and all the way through.
Very good. What is your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
All right, you've made it through our first section. The second one is called Tough Choices. Are you ready?
Fire in the hole.
Would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska?
I would like to visit Alaska, but I've been Hawaii, so flip a coin.
All right. Is your glass half full or half empty?
Where's the water fountain?
Would you rather lose sleep or skip a meal?
Lose sleep. I do that on a regular basis.
Would you rather owe money or owe a favor?
That's a tough one. Neither. So never put yourself in those positions.
Very good. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Both.
Here's my favorite question. Justice or grace?
Grace. We need to be humble and merciful.
Amen. Would you rather ride a bike, ride a horse, or drive a car?
Drive a car.
The last section is called Finish the Sentence. So I'm going to give you a few unfinished sentences, and you're going to finish them for me. You ready?
Okay.
If Leo could live anywhere, it would be...
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Let me start again. Leo's favorite thing about his career is...
We're always striving for success, onward and upward.
The best part of living in Southern Nevada is...
It's beautiful down here, and it has been for how many years? Got Las Vegas, Pahrump, Nye County. You get everything all in the Southern Nevada area.
I agree. 3 words that describe Leo are...
Fun, decisive, and what's the word I was looking for? A solutionist.
Well said. If Leo could travel back in time, it would be...
Any point in time?
Any point.
I would have liked to have met Albert Einstein.
Ooh, very good one. And final question. Doing the WC podcast today was?
Phenomenal.
Great. Well, thank you, Leo, for staying over and doing our boldness segment against the wall.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.